Hello, it is Saturday, February 19th, 2022, and I'm Chris Remo. Welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It's a Saturday puzzle, so very possibly quite a tricky one. It looks like a fairly airy grid today, although we don't seem to have any grid-spanning answers. This edition of the Daily Solve was brought to you by Cass Wilkinson Saldana, Skella Chicken, and, as always, the inestimable Hood Monster. So thank you so much to the three of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign. I really appreciate their support as well as the support of everybody who has backed the Patreon campaign at any level. And if you'd like to join the ranks of those benefactors, you can do that at patreon.com/dailysolve and get that Let's Check the Crosses Daily Solve mug, as well as this recognition. And if you back at any tier, you receive all of the bonus videos as well as the extra chat channel on the Daily Solve Discord Daily Solve Discord chat server. And speaking of bonus videos, two new ones went up yesterday. We had both the most recent week of New York Times mini crossword speed solves and the latest acrostic puzzle, the New York Times acrostic. And I think that one went better than some of my recent acrostics did. So I think I'm improving. But also I think this acrostic was a little more approachable than some of them. So that maybe counteracts my my slight pride there. And then I also solved the monthly bonus puzzle, although I've not yet put it up on the channel. The day, the puzzle is themed after World Social Justice Day, which is a UN-initiated holiday that is celebrated on the 20th of this month. So I'll release that on the 20th so that it feels timely. And I noticed there's also a new puns and anagram puzzle that New York Times has released. So I'll probably do that for Patreon as well. I've solved one of those for the Patreon in the past, and I was completely baffled by it. It's sort of a semi-cryptic puzzle. I didn't know that's what it was when I started solving it, so it was a very halting solve, but hopefully my next one will be a little smoother. So anyway, all sorts of things going up on the Patreon campaign these days, and you can find that at patreon.com/dailysolve. But first, let's solve today's crossword. How about that? As I said, this is a Saturday crossword. It's been constructed by Billy Bratton. This is Billy Bratton's second New York Times crossword, so not quite a debut. Second puzzle, and it was edited, as always, by Will Shorts. And it's a themeless puzzle. So it is with Saturdays, the difficult themeless. So let's get going. Let's get started and see what happens. Botheration. So this looks like a quaint exclamation of frustration. What is it? It could be dang it or something like that. I'm not sure. Makes a point. Well, you could be making a rhetorical point. You could be orating or something like that. Or you could be making a point by sharpening something to a point. Filing it to a point. I'm not sure. Let's keep going. That's a wrap. I mean, it could be a burrito. Oops. Not a batito, that's nothing, but a burrito maybe. That's a kind of wrap. Often these clues that say often rather than being a synonym, a replacement for the answer or a strict definition, often it's a description of it. And I think that's probably the case here. Let's see, let's check the crosses. Be with a group. Ah, yes, okay. This may well be burrito because be with a group, question mark, this indicates some kind of pun or wordplay. And I think what that means in this case is not to be with a group, not to exist with a group, but rather the word be, which is used in a singular context, but with a group, so in a plural context. So I may be something, but they are something. And so how about that? Language in which thank you is kap kun. Is it Viet? Is that the name of a language? I mean, this looks Southeast. This looks South Asian to me. Let's see. Shows moodiness. Stews, maybe? You could be stewing on something, showing your moodiness. And here we have let drop, say, and then here we have unceremonious. Unceremonious could be abrupt. You get an unceremonious exit, could be an abrupt exit. And Oh, let drop. I was going to say release, but that doesn't quite work, does it? No. Certainly doesn't. Raps Lil Blank Vert, I hope? Never heard of this one. Sorry about that. And here we have B. What is going on? Why does this page keep going up and down? Oh, I see. It's because this clue is so long that it's changing the layout of the page. Banned with the lyrics, when I was younger, I used to go and tip cows for fun. Yeah. Actually, I didn't do that because I didn't want the cow to be sad. I don't think I know this song. Maybe I do, and I just don't know it. Sometimes you can know a song and not even really know the lyrics. But it doesn't, I don't recognize it offhand. Pined away. Pined away. Is that, there's a question mark, so some kind of pun or wordplay. Is that possibly referring to a pine tree? Oh, sorry, I was looking at the wrong clue. Sorry. I was looking at 23 across for the answer, but then I was reading the clue for 2 down. So that band clue, sorry, that's 2 down, and then 23 across is be in limbo. Well, that could be penned. That's a little more straightforward. And what is this? Ditch. So ditch could be a noun. It could be a ditch, a rut, or it could be to ditch somebody, to desert somebody. And botheration, what is this? I just don't see it. And what about this here? Told ya. I was right, or I... smarter than smart. And here we have first national fraternity to officially welcome transgender members, 2014, informally. So this will be fraternity. This will be a U.S.-based sort of university social organization, and it'll be named with Greek letters probably. So it could be Sigma or Sig something, Sig Pi, that sort of thing. I bet it will start with Sig, with this S. What about this? They graduate quickly. So this could mean graduate as in get a degree from institution of higher learning, but it could also mean graduate as in a graduation, a sort of incline of a plane. It could be something that is steep. What about this? Flipped. I don't know. Let's keep going. Web browser with the majority market share is probably Chrome. In fact, the browser on which I'm solving this very crossword. Substitute for real money could be scrip. So scrip is there's sort of currency notes that can only be used in a specific business or organization. So old company towns used to be run on scrip. They would pay the workers in scrip, and then their workers who lived in the company town could only buy things inside of the businesses in the company town. Okay, this maybe is Sigma Epsilon would be my guess. I mean, I'm not familiar with that fraternity, or really any fraternity, I should say, but it does fit the crosses. Are there other Greek letters that this could be? I mean, maybe, but I'm going to leave that for now. Oh, this could end with it. Told you. I swear. No, could this end with it? IOU. IOU. So promise to repay. What is that? And what is this? Like twill and fail. Or faille in French. Those are fabrics, right? What about this? Earth poetically. Could be an orb. Poetically, often celestial bodies are referred to as orbs poetically. Makes a point. And bamboozle big time. May birthstone, is it an emerald? Must be. Much like the zodiac signs. I don't know the birthstones, but I have heard of most of the birthstones, I think. So emerald, perhaps. And here we have balconet or racerback. Balconet or racerback. Wow, what are those? And here we have, right, this is like 12 and Vale. Could end in D. It could be something that describes both of them. Rubbed? Common body types. Oh, it could be an auto body. So it could be a chassis or a body type of a car. So it could be sedans, which are common. Sedans, 4 doors. Although, sort of amazingly, the Ford Motor Company, one of the most iconic American auto brands, no longer sells sedans. They don't sell normal cars anymore. They only sell trucks and SUVs and the Mustang, which is a sports car. They don't sell normal, just sort of ordinary sedan cars. Isn't that bizarre at this point? Okay. Close-knit group. Could be a clan. Transcript list. Transcript list. So you could have a transcript of grades in university classes, for instance. I mean, you can have a transcript of almost anything. That's what makes this difficult. Oh, this is probably ribbed. Are these sort of ribbed materials? I bet that's what that is. Oh, and an IOU could be a chit. So you could you could sort of cash in a chit, and in this case, an IOU. Hopefully cash it in for the payment that you are owed. Makes a point. You could score a point. Here we go. This corner is finally coming together. Bamboozled big time. And what is this? Balconet or racerback? Oh, are these bra types? And then Rob... Bamboozle big time. Oh, rob blind. Yes, of course. Okay. You can rob someone blind. You can bamboozle them big time. There we go. Plugs away. Toils. You could plug away at this crossword, for instance. You could toil at this crossword and make little progress in 10 minutes. Transcript list. And they catch flies. Probably ends in an S, right? To wait on. Could be to serve. A waiter could wait on you, could serve you. Ways, and here we have Clear Eyes rival. Oh, it's an eye drops brand. It's capitalized, which is helpful. Visine, I think, is a brand of eye drops. Maybe that's the answer here. And puts in a seat. Probably ends in an S. Could be enrolls. Although that's probably not the spell. That's probably not the. They would probably use 2 L's. New York Times would probably use 2 L's, and L probably wouldn't follow N. Gorgon's lock. Gorgon from Greek myth had tresses of snakes, had serpent hair. Gorgon's lock. So lock, in other words, a lock of hair, would be a serpent in the case of a gorgon. And ways could be routes. You could plan a route, a way to get to your destination. Takes for a while in a way. Leases, maybe? You could lease a car or an apartment. You could take it for a while, but not permanently. Many a beauty therapist employer. Could be a spa. A beauty therapist could be employed at a spa. And bug... and make a long-distance call. So we have the question mark, which is the pun indicator. And in this case, calling, I think, means yodeling. So over long distance in a mountain range, and you're yodeling at the top of the Alps, and it's echoing and traveling for long distances, I think is what that means. Callous to an extreme. Callous to an extreme. So you're incredibly cold or cruel or unfeeling. Why do I not see that? Here we have flipped that long answer, And here we have exercise, could be use. You could use your faculties, exercise your faculties in solving this crossword. And earth could be soil, it's dirt essentially. Puts in a seat. Oh, you could elect somebody to a political seat. There we go. Oh, maybe Visine is spelled with an I. That would look much more plausible here. Okay, that makes this easier to solve. So this looks like sadistic to me. If you're callous to an extreme, you could be sadistic. You could be so callous you enjoy the pain of others. And bug is... Oh, wire. You could be wearing a wire, wearing a bug. So a recording device, a concealed recording device. Let's think where this leads us. Could be now. You could be reflecting. You'd say, well, now, is it that? Well, now. Is that what this is looking for? I'm not quite sure, so I'm not going to put that in yet. Here we have get across. Could be to, I was going to say convey, get something across, convey it, but that doesn't fit. So it's not the answer. And here we have diesel often found in a muscle car. This must be Vin Diesel. And I suppose there's no question mark, there's no pun indicator here, even though it's a bit of wordplay, because it is strictly true. Vin Diesel is often found in a muscle car in the Fast and the Furious franchise, for instance, of films. Smarter than smart. I'm not sure. And here we have one of two for a Valkyrie's horse. Were the Valkyrie's horses winged? So one of two, one wing of two. Let's think where this leads. Well, this could be well now, couldn't it? Well now. Actress, screenwriter, Taylor. Hopefully I can get this with another cross or two. I'm not sure offhand. Actress and screenwriter, Taylor. I'm not sure. Roots and start of a snap count. I think this might be a sports thing. And here we have uptight. Could end in a Y. That would be entirely plausible for someone's name. And Mr. High and Mighty. Mr. High and Mighty. Is it God? There's a question mark, so there's some kind of pun or wordplay. Roots. Oh, maybe it is God, because roots could be origin. And so Mr. High and Mighty, so God would often be referred to as Most High or Most Mighty, that sort of title. So this DG looks right. Uptight, those letters often go together. And probably end with a Y. Stodgy, if you're stodgy, you could consider that to indicate someone is uptight. And then cry on Christmas. This is probably something that is yelled, exclaimed, maybe by children on Christmas, perhaps. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't put stodgy in quite yet. What about this? First foreign language film to win Best Picture. I'm not sure off the top of my head. And an endurance test in gym. I don't know. What is this? Musical lead into So Fine or So Shy. It must be He's So Fine or He's So Shy. You could just as easily imagine that being she's, but that wouldn't fit in the cells. Cry on Christmas. Oh, I see. Ho, ho, ho. Right, sorry. Much more obvious than I was making it. What is the most iconic Christmas cry? It would be ho, ho, ho. And that means uptight is not stodgy, so I'm glad I didn't write that in. That would have made this harder, more difficult to solve. Uptight. Although now I have no idea what that is. And here we have start of a slap. Oh, is it hut one or hup one or something? I think the one is probably correct. And have we looked at this yet? Oh, endurance test in gym. It's probably some kind of run. Now, what is this? Uptight. What is this? Sorry. First foreign language film to win Best Picture. Something's wrong down here. Maybe this isn't wing. Or maybe this isn't one, or maybe this isn't whatever this is. Oh, on edge. Right, I shouldn't have kept that Y there after I removed the rest of the word. That was silly. So if you're uptight, you're on edge. There we go. That makes more sense. First foreign language film to win Best Picture. Oh, I'm sure I'll recognize this, but I just can't bring whatever it is to mind offhand. Oh, Parasite. Yeah, right. It was shockingly recent that a foreign language film only won Best Picture within the last few years. I mean, Parasite was a great film, but I remember that being surprising. Okay, beauty brand is probably Olay. I recognize that. Commissions could be hires. You could commission somebody to construct a crossword, for instance. You could hire them to do that. An endurance test in gym. Oh, mile run, perhaps? And issue ultimatums. Make challenges or something like that. Make something. Transcript list. Oh, courses. You could have a course transcript. Okay. So it's sort of similar to what I was talking about earlier. And, oh, I haven't seen this yet. Dog that smells a lot. A bloodhound, maybe. So the misdirection here, doesn't need the question mark because it is literally true. You might think it's a dog that has an odor. So it smells in the sense that you smell its odor. But what this is really saying is that it is a dog that performs the act of smelling frequently. A bloodhound. Oh, it's not a bloodhound. Well, it's probably some kind of hound. Those are the dogs who smell most avidly. Some other kind of hound. Basset hound, I don't know. Snookums could be Hun or Hun with a U. Pet name for a partner, but I don't know which it is, so let's leave it for now. Group of commuters, question mark. So this is considered to be punny enough to deserve the question mark. And what is this? Michael E. Blank, pioneer in coronary bypass surgery. Wow, I certainly don't know that. Is that a commonly known person? I mean, I'm not saying they shouldn't be. It's obviously an achievement, but I don't think I know their name. Lead-ins to some prank calls. I don't know, random dialing, or what would be a lead-in to some prank calls? Not sure. And here we have Earth. Oh, that's right. So we already had orb for Earth poetically, right? And then didn't we have soil or something like that somewhere? That could be Earth. What was it? I just don't want to reuse something that we've already put in the grid. Oh, yes. Earth, right. Earth, soil. Okay, so we have to make sure we don't reuse orb. Well, we couldn't use soil here anyway because it's only 3 letters, but we don't want to reuse orb. Earth. I don't know. Issue ultimatums. Oh, I see. Make demands. We can issue ultimatums. We can make demands. And they catch flies. Toads catch flies. There we go. Group of commuters. So this will be Hun with a U or Hun with an O, and O looks more likely. Group of commuters. So something about a board, you sort of boarding a train, you're commuting on a train. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't put that in yet. And here we have flipped. Oh, went bananas. That looks much more, it's much more inviting with a few more crosses in there. And here we have they graduate quickly. Mills of some kind. So this is actually quite similar to this hound clue. And they cross each other. That's clever. So in the same sense that dog that smells a lot initially reads as though it means you smell the dog. What it means is the dog performs the act of smelling. And similarly, they graduate quickly means they, the answer, performs the act of graduating students quickly. It's not, I don't think this is referring to students who themselves graduate on an accelerated time frame. It's referring to the institutions that will graduate those students quickly. And so my first thought was diploma mills. That doesn't fit. It doesn't fit the G, but it also isn't even enough. It's too many letters to fit these cells. So what would it be? Oh, degree mills. So basically precisely the same concept. So degree mills, universities that churn out degrees quickly and push students through that degree pipeline. There we have that. All right. What about this? Told ya. I knew it. So maybe this isn't stews. Told you really looks like I knew it, doesn't it? But that looks very strange here. Shows moodiness. Maybe not. And what about this? Smarter than smarter. Outwit the devil or something? What is this? This looks like maybe it is devil, is it? Get across. Oh. Relay? Is this Renee? Renee Taylor? And then start of a snap counts. That does fit here. Hut 1. Okay. So I think actually maybe this is devil. No, it's not. It's not. Because devil would need an I. Sorry. Okay. That was completely wrong. But at least thinking about that led me to solve the rest of that bottom of the grid. So what about this? Group of commuters. Oh, parole board. Oh. And this isn't quite the same as that hound and degree mills thing, but it was also some misdirection in terms of how we're interpreting the verb, the active verb. So here we have people who may, I mean, I don't know if this is technically accurate in terms of commuting a sentence, but you could say a parole board is the group that has the power to commute the sentence of a prisoner. And so the parole board is a group of commuters, and by commuting the sentence, removing the remainder of the sentence. Which again, I don't really think is sort of legally equivalent to giving parole, because I just don't think I think, they could still be returned, right? Anyway, I'm not exactly sure what the legal distinction is there, but for the purpose of a pun, it is either legally accurate or it's close enough with the pun, and I don't know which, but someone will tell me now that I've said that. Michael E. Blank. Michael E. I don't know. I mean, it's a name. It could be almost anything. Lead-ins to some prank calls. Oh, dares. You could dare somebody to make a prank call. How about that? Oh, so maybe this is Basset Hound, actually, after all. And what about this? Smarter than smart. On some level? Let drop, say. And told ya. So if this were I knew it. That just looks so strange here. Shows moodiness. I'm really not thrilled about it. What about this corner that I abandoned early on, that I dropped, that I let drop, say? Botheration. Oh boy, I just don't know what this one is. And what about here? Pined away. Pined away. Pined away. So pining, you could... I don't know. Just don't know. None of the synonyms I can think of for pined make sense here. Band with the lyrics, right? It's this cows thing. I don't know. Ditch, abandon. Well, this name now has relatively few possible choices. I suspect pined away is going to end with an ED, and that would make this Michael E. DeBakey. I mean, I don't know that name. I don't recognize it, unfortunately, but there aren't very many letters that could fit here. It'll almost certainly have to be a vowel. And E is by far the most likely. So maybe that's the answer. Maybe it's Michael E. DeBakey. I hope it is. I don't really know what else to do if it isn't. So let's just operate. Oops, did I scroll the page? Let's operate on that assumption for now. So what else can we get in this crossword? Oh, right. I still have this shows moodiness. I was very surprised that wasn't stews. Do I know that this must be burrito? I put that in quite early, and it did work with R. Is there something else it could be. I mean, this all worked so well together. That's a wrap. So this shows moodiness. This I knew it. If this were I knew it, which does seem extremely likely, shows moodiness could be sulks, and that could use that K. This would then not be burrito. What would this be? Does that mean abrupt is wrong? I mean, I just have no idea about this wrapper clue or pined away, really, even. Botheration. If this were still a B, that's a wrap. Oh, I just don't know. Oh, so maybe this is Thai. That's what I wanted this to be originally, this language. Maybe it is. Oh, that's a wrap as a bear hug. Okay. Well, I was on the wrong track entirely, but I got there eventually. You could wrap your arms around someone for a big bear hug. So smarter than smart is genius level. Okay, boy, I'm really glad I rethought that burrito. And all the rest of this looks fine. So sig ep was correct after all. Let drop. Oh, repealed maybe. You could let a law drop. I mean, you wouldn't really let it drop. You have to actively repeal it, but maybe. Or it could be revealed, maybe. Let's leave that for now, just in case. Oh, is this Weezer, maybe? Botheration. Yeah, it probably is. Rats. Okay, I don't think I know this song. After all, but I do think it's probably Weezer. Pined away. Is it treed? Pined away, treed? What does that mean? Pine tree? Raps Lil, is it Uzi? Can't think of any other words that would start with UZ. Ditch. Oh, a ravine. That was the word I was trying to think of earlier when I was thinking of crevasses and ruts and things like that, and I couldn't bring it to mind. So here we go. So indeed, a ditch is a ravine, and pined away is treed? It is. Okay. So I don't quite. Does that mean treed when a dog sort of trees an animal, drives it up into the trees? It sort of pined it away. Sorry, I apologize. I think that's the only thing left in this puzzle that I don't understand. I mean, there might sort of names I didn't necessarily know, but it's not as though I don't understand them. But this treed, I think I'm not quite certain exactly what that means. But otherwise, anyway, that was the Saturday puzzle. Certainly, it was certainly the trickiest puzzle for me this week. I mean, there's no doubt about that. And that was the intention, of course, with the Saturday puzzle. And quite a bit of a colloquial and punny puzzle. So we had both puns and subtler, not quite pun, misdirection. We had both. So they graduate quickly, degree mills. It's the object of graduating is slightly not quite what you'd expect. And then similarly, dog that smells a lot, a basset hound. That's very clever. These are some clever clues. Did this one work that way? No, not really. Issue ultimatums was straightforward. Make demands. But this group of commuters, parole board, recontextualizing how we're using the word commuters and what commute could mean. Two utterly different meanings of the word commute. It's interesting. And what else? What else did we have in this puzzle? We had some of these little. Oh, and these were in mirroring positions. I knew it, and well now. Some very unremarkable phrases, I suppose. Just sort of bits of ordinary speech that you might say, and they mirrored each other in their positions in the grid. Trying to think if there were any other really interesting clues. I mean, it was I think a pretty classic themeless puzzle in that we had a fair amount of range in the answers between phrases and straightforward trivia knowledge and vocabulary and that sort of thing. But notable in that these Saturday puzzles often have a lot of misdirection and wordplay in the cluing, and that's ultimately what makes it difficult, as opposed to deep dives into the trivia side of things. I mean, we had some trivia and general knowledge, but much more of the challenge of this puzzle, as is, I think, often the case on Saturday, is in the cluing, in the misdirection, in the puns, in the vagueness. We had two different clues that were simply earth. And earth could be so many different things. Although in this case, actually, they were both used to mean essentially dirt. We had sod and soil. I didn't actually notice that. But of course, those are both very vague clues that could be many, many things. Anyway, that was the Saturday Puzzle by Billy Bratton. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed the solve. I hope you enjoyed the video. And now, let's discuss a few clues from yesterday's puzzle, the Friday puzzle. I think we have three comments. Although let's see. Yes, two of them are fairly straightforward. So Richard Lorenzen confirms the Peace Bridge. I was guessing, is that bridge between the United States and Canada? And indeed, the Peace Bridge connects Buffalo, New York with Fort Erie, Ontario, Canada. So there we have it. And Dragon Traces explains that NCR, the ATM manufacturer, stands for National Cash Register. So thank you. And finally, this I thought was funny. This wasn't so much a correction as a reflection on the part of Elliot Robinson, who says, has every reference to K-pop in the history of the New York Times crossword been to BTS or vice versa, presumably meaning BTS referring to K-pop? I feel like every clue could essentially just be K-pop, and we would automatically know the answer is BTS. Surely there are other famous K-pop artists and groups. And Ben Ward says, I think it's less that the setters intend to include K-pop references and more that they get stuck with the letters BTS and can't find another clue. But regardless, I agree it would be nice to get a Blackpink or an EXO every now and again. I can't say I'm familiar with those artists, unfortunately and unsurprisingly, but I will say I do think the original question, I think the answer is no, because the only other K-pop artist with whom I'm familiar is Psy, the singular artist behind the mega hit Gangnam Style, and I'm certain that Psy has popped up in the New York Times crossword before, and that's one I would be able to get because I remember that song very well. And so, no, I don't think BTS is the only K-pop reference that is made in the New York Times crossword, but it certainly has been very common recently as that group has been, I suppose, stratospherically successful. Anyway, that's it. That's it for the clues. That's it for today's crossword, today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do subscribe to the channel and pass it on to someone. Why not? In person, online, or broadcast it through your online community where you reside. And what else? Oh, right. There is the Daily Solve Discord chat server. It's a nice community of people who discuss these videos, the New York Times crossword generally, other crosswords. They construct their own crosswords, and people in that Discord server play them and give feedback, which I think is probably extremely useful to those constructors. And also people posting their Wordle scores in there. I'm still solving the Wordle every day in a short 1 minute or less video here on the channel, if you've not seen that. And anything else? Well, like I said, I've got all of those new videos up on Patreon with more coming soon. And if you are a Patreon subscriber and you'd like to suggest videos for me to solve, please feel free to do that. And you can do that anywhere. In a comment on a video, on the Patreon campaign itself, in a Twitter reply, anywhere is fine. And I'm happy to consider those requests. Anyway, I'll be back tomorrow for the Sunday puzzle, the big, long, midweek difficulty jumbo Sunday grid. So join me for that for a long, leisurely solve. But until then, please do have an excellent remainder of your Saturday. Take care.